For as long as most of us can remember, when you would talk about Canadians on the PGA Tour, Mike Weir and Stephen Ames were the first and basically only two names that came to mind. Well, that's about to change if it hasn't already. Sean Foley may not be swinging the club or making the crucial putts, but his job on tour is arguably just as important. As a swing coach with clients such as Ames, Hunter Mahan, and now Tiger Woods, Foley's resume is as impressive as it gets. But just who is this 36-year-old from Southern Ontario, and how did he rise to the top of the sport seemingly out of nowhere? I present to you now the answer to that in this part one of our exclusive interview with Sean Foley.
There's a lot that goes into a golf.
From an early age, growing up in Burlington, Ontario, Sean Foley was always a student of the game of golf.
I enjoyed practicing more. I enjoyed hitting range balls and chipping and putting. I just never understood the whole playing thing. I've never really tended to stick at something that I don't do well for very long. So like basketball, baseball, all that stuff. I've always been kind of just very single-minded. Whatever I'm doing, I kind of obsess about it. So that's kind of been golf since I was like 11 or so.
Foley was truly sold on becoming a swing coach after an experience at Glen Abbey Golf Course at the Canadian Open. Foley at the time had just got hired to work as a teaching pro at the course. And while everyone else was watching the tournament or trying to get close to the PGA stars, Foley was more enamored with the driving range and watching two of the best to ever teach the golf swing.
And at the Canadian Open, I saw Butch Harmon working with Greg Norman and David Ledbetter working with Nick Faldo. And, I thought that was kind of it. I looked up to them so much. I used to go to learn off of them, and I'd see how they interacted with people and how their day went, and I was sold that looked like a really great life,
I had a range pass, and that was the only range pass, so Sean would borrow it and head out to the range and just plunk right behind Davis Love, and he'd plunk right behind Tiger, and just study these guys.
Over the next few years, Foley built up his reputation as one of the best young instructors in Canada and was hired by Golf Canada to be the head coach for the Canadian junior team. And doing that job was how Foley would get his ultimate break.
You want to play on the PGA Tour, right? Well, if you hit hooks in front of one camera with no one around, think about how you're going to hit it with 5 cameras and thousands of people around, Willie.
In 2005, Stephen Ames introduced the Stephen Ames Cup, matching the best junior golfers in Canada against the best junior golfers from his native country, Trinidad and Tobago. Ames took notice to Foley doing great work with the juniors, and when the PGA Pro injured his back shortly after, realizing he would have to reinvent the way he swung the golf club, Ames turned to Foley.
I had been down in Orlando for about 3 months and had left like a very good business in Canada with a lot of clients and doing well and loving my job, and then just took the leap down here, starting the Core Golf Academy with Tom Jackson. And that first year we had 2 kids. I felt like I was back, waiting tables and teaching golf, you know what I mean? I was back to that stage, and I think some people were questioning my decision to come down here. And then boom, the next, I had the discussion with my dad and my wife or whatever, and they were thinking, maybe it's time to come home, and the next day Stephen called.
With Foley's help, not only did Ames prolong his career, it skyrocketed. Ames won 3 of his 4 PGA Tour events under Foley's tutelage, while rising to the top 25 in the world golf rankings and earning millions on tour. That's when other PGA players became aware of Foley, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, I'm surprised, obviously, with how things have turned out, but at the same point, I'm not surprised either. There's it's very humbling, but you look back at what you did, and you're written up in Golf Magazine as an overnight success, and that's like over 3,900 nights.
These days, Foley has no fewer than 7 PGA players on his roster. Outside of Ames and Canadian Chris Barilla, Foley is currently the swing coach to a remarkable 4 of the top 50 golfers in the world: Sean O'Hare, Hunter Mahan, Justin Rose, and then maybe the most influential athlete on the planet, Tiger Woods.
Molinari already on the green with the birdie putt.
I don't need this. Tiger's playing like Tiger. Well, Sean Foley, maybe the eagle has landed, who knows?
Working with Woods while still trying to juggle his other friends and clients on tour is a challenge, Foley says, but somehow he manages to make it work.
It's a tightrope out there. It really is. It's like you're really you're walking on the edge the whole time. But that's kind of the rush, you know? The rush is say, how busy can I be and organized at the same time? I feel more like a navigation system. So they're on this road to where they're going, and I'm just able to be typed in to ensure that they're not off track.
And if all four of your guys come off the course, Sean, I need you like now. What do you do if all four at once are tugging at you? Like, has that ever happened?
I just laugh. It's just like, oh, like, what am I gonna do? I'm like, who's playing the worst? I am. All right, I'll start with you. Right? Are you playing good? Yeah. All right. Well, I don't want to. If you're playing good, then let's not start talking and maybe screw up a good thing. You know what I mean?
Still to come in part 2 of our sit down with Sean Foley, working with Tiger Woods, what it's like being in that spotlight, and looking forward, is Foley the answer to getting Tiger back on track? All that and more coming up in part 2 of our exclusive interview with Foley that you can only watch right here on The Score.